Let's talk about Fernando Diniz and Brazilian relationism style soccer tactics. Sometimes these soccer tactics have been described as apositional or literally just Brazilian street soccer, but that's not quite true. So let's go through some of the basic concepts for his tactical relationist system. Fernando Diniz with Fluminense mostly used a 4-2-3-1 formation, a formation that most of us will be familiar with European soccer and positional play, as it spreads the entire field. However, this is the only time we're going to see this formation is in the team sheets and maybe at kickoff or goal kicks. Once the game actually gets going, we're going to see things more like this. We're going to see the whole team shift over and tilt to one side of the field. And the reason for this is that in a relationist system, the goal is not to swing the ball to the other side of the field to create space. It is instead to look for passing combinations here to pass the ball and work our way up the field. In fact, one of the things you'll see all the time is players will pass the ball and drop, and instead of switching here, which is the natural thing we come to expect, they will do what's called a yo-yo and work it back into that side. So let's go over a few of the other principles. So we have a few attacking principles that we are going to go over for this relationist style system. The first one is called Toca y eu vou, or you touch and I go. And this works with creating what is called tabelas, or give and goes, throughout the game to progress the ball up the field. So let's take a look at how tabelas work. So to keep things simple, we are going to just focus on the two players versus one defender. So how a tabela works is this player draws the defender in, this player shows for the space here, they pass, they run around, so it's toca y eu vou. They play the ball into the space. And this covers another principle of relationist style soccer that is different from positional style soccer. Pep Guardiola says that positional play is about rationally occupying space, where relationist style soccer is about playing the ball and then arriving into space. However, we can also do different types of tabelas. One of my favorite is actually a more direct pass in behind the defender, such as this. So we're going to play the ball into the defender here and run into the space here to receive the ball. And we will likely see this in a Fernando Diniz team working up the sidelines as they have their team tilted all the way onto this side. So very common thing we will see is the player will have the ball here. The 10 will be on the sideline here, and we'll play the ball, and we'll come here and receive the ball. This can also be done with a third man as well. It doesn't have to be just the individual. We could play it in here, and the 10 play the ball inside there. The next principle that we're going to look at is called the escadinha, or a staircase. The escadinha is essentially three players in a line, which can create staircases for the team to advance up the field. This is especially useful for taking the ball away from the sideline and getting closer to the center of the goal, because that's how we get the ball into the center to score in this system. So let's take a look. An escadinha, or a staircase, could look something like this. So we have three players in a diagonal line across the field. And one of the things we can do here is we can do tabelas. So we're going to take touch, vou, pass the ball back, touch, he goes again, receives the ball back. Now we have a scoring opportunity. However, there is one other principle that I'd like to point out. We can also say if there is a defender right here on that player's shoulder, we have two choices. We can pass it and he can try to flick it into the number 10, or even better, we can do what's called Corta da Luz. Corta da Luz means cutting out the lights. So how this works is when we play it into this player here, they are going to let the ball run through their legs and run to the space here while the ball travels in behind. But even better than that, the number 10 here could either take a shot, or they can create a tabela, a give and go, to the number 2 that now has an opportunity. Probably one of the most famous examples of an Escadinha to a Corta da Luz was in the World Cup final, Brazil versus Germany. The ball was played in to Rivaldo. Rivaldo, Corta da Luz to Ronaldo. Ronaldo took it and he scored against Germany in the World Cup final. Now, this is just a brief overview of some of the tactics done in relationist style soccer, and there are other things I will touch on in later videos. But one other thing I really want to emphasize with relationism is these patterns are never the same throughout the game. More general concepts that encourage creativity of players on the field to try things, to try dribbles, and to try tricks and flicks even. Fernando Diniz, when he was with Fluminense, his Fluminense team averaged more dribbles than any other team in the Brasileirão. And thinking about Brazil, if you average more dribbles than any other team, your players are the trickiest players out there and the most techie players probably in the league. So that is your introduction to Brazilian relationism and Fernando Diniz. Guys, let me know what you thought in the comments below and stay tuned for the next video.